All right, Joseph, one of the things I always hear about Section 8 is the fear of either your property getting destroyed, tenants coming in, messing it up, drugs coming in, all this stuff. What are some of the steps your company takes in place to ensure you guys have the best quality tenants in place for your client?
Yeah, great question. So the great thing about Section 8 is a lot of people that are applying for the Section 8 program are generally in an application process that takes almost 3 years. So as soon as someone gets approved to receive free rent for the rest of their life, the last thing that they want to do is lose that rent voucher. And this is something they can pass down to their children after they die, which is extremely important, right? So that's a massive leverage point right there. But also, we buy properties in landlord-friendly states because at the end of the day, we are dealing with people, and sometimes people can be messy. And if the people that we interview move into the property, and let's say they lie to us and they're not following the rules, it's very easy for us in these landlord-friendly states to have somebody removed. First things first is we'll go down to the housing authority and we'll let them know, hey, your tenant is not following our rules or destroying our property. We need you to address this. Step number 2 is using the laws of these landlord-friendly states to help us in evicting these tenants, which is great because the states that we do not buy in are in California, Colorado, or New York for obvious reasons, because the time it takes to remove a tenant in those states can be anywhere between 12 to 18 months. And so that's our first leverage point, is making sure we buy in landlord-friendly states. What we also do is we go through a very intense background check with these tenants to make sure that they meet all the criteria. They have good credit, they don't have any crime, they don't have any evictions. We make sure that they put up a security deposit, and we make sure that the last landlord they have, we validate, we reach out to those landlords, and we make sure that their last landlord had a great experience with them. These are all the things that we check with these tenants to make sure that they are good people before we allow them to move into your property. Because at the end of the day, we want tenants to stay with us for 5 to 8 years. So that way you have consistent rent roll. And we all know as real estate investors, your biggest expense is when people move out of your property and you have to then fix anything that they might have broke during that time, and then the months that it takes for you to find a new tenant in that property. We want to avoid that as much as possible. And that's the great thing about Section 8 is generally tenants will stay for longer periods of time than your typical renter. But the other thing to add to that, to be honest with you, is a lot of these Section 8 families have been on this application process for the last 3 years. So the last thing that they want to do is lose the free rent they've been given for life after they've gone through such a stringent background and financial inspection to make sure that they qualify for this free rent housing.